Behind me right now are over 350 bottles of fragrances. But you don't care about just any fragrances. You have made it extremely clear from my most recent video that you care specifically about which fragrances are the best for the summer. With that being said, these are the 10 best summer fragrances in my collection. To make sure that there is something for everybody on this top 10 list, I've made sure there is a mix of cheap, designer, and niche summer fragrances, all being a straight 10 out of 10. In at the number 10 spot is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum. I own Paradise Gardens and Le Beau EDT, but I will stand and die on this hill. Le Beau Le Parfum is the best fresh fragrance from Jean Paul Gaultier. If you don't like coconut, you will absolutely hate this fragrance because to me, a creamy burst of coconut is just all I smell, especially in the opening. It dries down to almost kind of a vanilla tonka bean, slightly nuttiness in the dry down. I love the dry down too, but that opening is just a straight burst of coconut. This fragrance is not refined at all. It's meant to just be in your face, fun, super loud. I think this is actually best for going out and clubbing, but when it's hot outside. So think like summer night parties, summer night clubbing, trying to get compliments. This is the fragrance for those type of events. There's probably going to be some 35-year-old that comments that this is their favorite fragrance after I say this, but I truly do think this is a young man's fragrance and no one else's really. I'm talking 16 to like 22. It just smells so youthful and sweet. As my younger brother once said when he smelled this for the first time, this smells like a 7-Eleven Slurpee. Like, you know those super synthetic, almost gummy bear tasting Slurpee snow cones? That's what this fragrance smells like. Synthetic, not natural. It's meant to be bright, in your face, and just really out there, which I love. But don't expect this to be a refined or sophisticated scent. At the number 9 spot is a fragrance I picked up about a month ago, but I have been absolutely loving it, and that is Club de Nuit Milestone. This is a very underrated dupe fragrance, and the dupe is of Creed Millissim's Imperial, which I've smelled before, and I will say there are definitely some differences, and I think Armaf did this on purpose. This is much more in your face and loud, almost has a slightly metallic feel, whereas the real Creed Millissim Imperial is more creamy. It's definitely more subtle. I think it more appeals to the older demographic, whereas with this fragrance, they wanted the young men to really, really love this one. In the opening, I get a burst of kind of like watermelon gummy mixed in with aquatic saltiness. It's a very unique combo. It's a combo that you might think sounds disgusting when I say it, but I'm telling you, try this one, and I really do think this could be your new favorite cheap summer fragrance. This is a bold scent. Once again, like Le Beau Le Parfum, it's not supposed to be refined or super sophisticated. This kind of gives off like gym bro type of vibe, so this is a great kind of gym or kind of exercise type of scent. Say you know you're a young man watching this and you really like your sport, maybe you have sport before school, this would be a fantastic fragrance to apply after sports class, and it would last you the entire school day and into the nighttime. Price wise, I picked this up for 60 Australian dollars from my local Chemist Warehouse, but for all like the US guys watching, I think you guys literally get away with a robbery. I'm pretty sure last time I checked, it was 25 USD off of Amazon, so enjoy that. In at the number 8 spot is a timeless classic fragrance that really has just been forgotten about on social media, and that is Prada L'Homme EDT. And I think this fragrance just isn't a cool fragrance. Like, to young guys, I just don't think this fragrance is really going to stand out. But if you're slightly older, or maybe you're younger, but you really do want to come across as a gentleman during the summertime as well, Prada L'Homme EDT is that guy. It is that fragrance. I've always described this as like smelling freshly washed linen sheets. It's soapy, it's powdery, it's a little bit musky in the dry down. It's really sexy. It's a super fresh iris fragrance, honestly. I'm usually not a huge fan of fragrances that lack sweetness and kind of focus on a more fresh and clean aspect, but Prada L'Homme EDT is definitely an exception for me. Prada L'Homme Intense is still my preferred choice of the two, but the reality is for summertime, this is so much better. It's just fresher, it's cleaner. Prada L'Homme Intense would probably be too heavy and dark for the summer, but just if I only had to choose one for life, it would be the Intense version. Making its way to the top 7 is Boo Jeremy's Inferno. And the reason I'm holding this and not God of Fire is because I don't actually own the real God of Fire. But if I did, it would probably replace this, because this is a $45 dupe of the real God of Fire. This gets pretty close though, I will say. Bujami did a great job with this fragrance. They have around 300 dupes now in their kind of entire stock list, and this is in their top 5 best selling, and I can honestly see why. When I first smell this, I just get a super bright burst of mango. On my skin, I would say it leans a little bit more unisex rather than masculine, but I think a lot of guys would really enjoy this. This kind of smells like you're sipping a really realistic fruit cocktail on the beach or something. Like, whenever I smell this, it definitely kind of transports my mind into somewhere like Fiji or Cuba, like a more kind of beachy tropical area. I've been talking with the owner, Bujami, and he confirmed that they ship everywhere in the world pretty much now. They have a Middle Eastern website that ships to the US and Canada. Well, they have their own Canada website. They have the Middle Eastern website for America, and then they of course ship to Australia as well. Plus you get a pressurized atomizer for 45 bucks, which I think is a nice kind of addition. But it smells great. If you want a tropical sweet fragrance, this could be the one for you. Moving back to the more classy and sophisticated side of summer fragrances with Initio's Musk Therapy. And the more I wear this, the more I fall in love with it. And I'll go as far to say, this is my new favorite Initio fragrance out of their entire range. This is an incredibly natural smelling fragrance, and usually I actually prefer more synthetic fragrances, but not in this case. This is just a whole bunch of citruses, but then you get a really creamy and, as the name suggests, musky base. It is a delicious, calming, and relaxing fragrance, but I also think it kind of has like a sexy, subtly sexy vibe to it too. Initio fragrances tend to have really bad performance on my skin, but for a fresh fragrance especially, this is not half bad. I have no complaints with the performance. It's like 6-7 hours longevity with soft to moderate projection, but I'm kind of glad this isn't a beast mode performer, because this type of scent profile anyway, I don't really want it to be kind of obnoxiously annoying everybody else's noses. Breaking into the top 5 with a fragrance that is back here and actually also broken. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that I could just drink that right now if I wanted to. And it smells so good that I actually kind of do want to. Mind Games Blockade. Is this overpriced to the hell and back? Yes, I don't even want to talk about the price, but try and get a sample of it, because this is the best Creed Aventus inspired scent I have ever smelled. This still has the masculine Aventus DNA, like 60% of the way there, but it's creamier, it's more tropical. The mango note is honestly better than the Aventus pineapple note in my opinion. It is insanely good. And yes, I do think this is better than God of Fire. And I also think the performance is much better than most people are giving it credit for. I get around 6-7 hours longevity with moderate projection. The performance is not crazy good by any means, but based off some of these reviews, you would think that this thing lasts 2 hours on skin with almost no projection at all, which is just not the case, at least in my experience. I realized after recording this video that I completely missed the number 4 spot on this list, but do not fear, because it is none other than YSL EDP. I would never forget such a beautiful smelling fragrance. It's soapy, clean, super masculine, and almost classy smelling. It's been my best friend's signature scent for over a year now. The scent trail it leaves is just like a gentleman that knows how to hygiene. Like, he takes good care of himself. That's what this fragrance smells like. Honestly, this isn't really a summer fragrance. I think you can use it all year round, going out, nightclubs, literally anything. YSL EDP works. I mean, a suit and a tie, you could still wear this fragrance. But I do think it shines the best in the high heat. It's got an apple note, but it's not too sweet or cloying. It's just a very fresh and clean fragrance. Genuinely, if you want to smell like you just got out of a luxurious bubble bath, this is the fragrance that you should wear. We have made it to the final 3, and these 3 are insanely good. Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. You can just see that dent that I've made in this thing. It is so addictive. It is so refreshing. It is an extremely sweet and fruity fragrance, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for this type of scent, but 90% of the time, I reach for this when I'm looking for a summer fragrance. I will say this is by far my most worn summer fragrance, even though it's not the #1 spot. I do wear this the most. There is just something addictive about it. I don't know if it's the peach, the apricot, the way it's blended together, but it is incredible. Imagination is definitely getting most of the hype from the Louis Vuitton brand right now, and although I see why people love that fragrance so much, it is just too soapy and clean for me. It doesn't have enough sweetness. There's just not enough going on. This fragrance just does it for me. There is something special about this fragrance. In at the #2 spot is the best fresh fragrance from Parfums de Marly, and that is Greenly. The new Parfums de Marly about to come out called Castling. Hey, it might be better than Greenly. We just don't know yet, but for now, Greenly remains the king. Super realistic green apple, but it is very sweet. It kind of reminds me of those apple shampoos that kind of have a synthetic vibe, but they smell extremely apple heavy. You get oak moss in the base too, but I'm not going to pretend to you guys that I know what oak moss smells like, because I have no idea. There are a few dupes of Greenly on the market, but I found that all of them just can't quite get it right. They're either too woody, they're either too synthetic. There's two that I've tried, Bougerami Wicked and Ether by French Avenue. Both of them kind of got it right in their own way, but there was something slightly wrong with each of them. I would just say if you can afford it, buy the real Greenly, because clearly these dupe companies just can't get this scent DNA. Fantastic performance for a summer fragrance. I'm talking 8 to 9 hours longevity with moderate projection. Greenly is just always going to be a staple in my summer rotation. And if you like green apple type fragrances, or if that smell sounds appealing to you, this will probably become a staple for you as well. This is kind of cheating the rules, but in at the #1 spot, I actually have a two-way tie between two City Rhythm fragrances. City Rhythm 2654 and Miami Tropical Confessions. These are both super tropical and creamy unisex gourmand summer fragrances. They're very unique. They're very different to what's out on the market in terms of summer offerings. Definitely not Blind Buy safe, but Tropical Confessions is the most coconut heavy and floral out of the two. This one to some people leans a little bit feminine, but I think it is amazing. Instead of coconut, it's like coconut milk. So just think really creamy, really gourmand. That is this fragrance. Ridiculously strong performance. I'm talking 12 hours longevity with strong performance. Strong projection, sorry. As you can see, you get a pressurized atomizer. It's just a very addictive and unique smell. This one is the one I wear the least out of the two, but it's also the one I think I would keep if I could only choose one for life. City Rhythm 2654 is actually a hybrid of two of their best-selling fragrances, City Rhythm Miami and City Rhythm San Diego. Apparently 2654 is the coordinate point between those two cities in real life, which I think is a pretty cool touch. This one to me leans more masculine. You get quite a boozy dry down. It actually has a rum accord, which I think incorporating a boozy note within a tropical gourmand summer fragrance sounds impossible to do, but it's really impressive that they pulled it off successfully. I own 4 fragrances from the City Rhythm brand now, and they are quickly becoming one of my favorites. They are quite expensive though. I think for a 50 ml, around $180 US. So definitely sample and do not blind buy. Otherwise, I'm not taking any blame that you come at me with that. Just don't come at me, please. Just blind. Just don't. I don't know what I'm saying. That is going to wrap up this video on ranking my top 10 favorites summer fragrances out of my 350 plus bottle collection. Tell me what you think of my list and tell me your #1 summer fragrance right now. Have a good rest of your day. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.